Hello, beginner jazzman! Teacher and saxophonist Andrei Stepanov, LuckySAX, is with you again, and I'm glad to see you again at the Jazz Improvisation course. At the beginning of the lesson, as always, I will tell you quite a bit about the theoretical part of the training. So, the main components of music are scales, chords, melody, rhythm, and harmony. The goal of jazz education is to lay the foundations necessary in the process of learning jazz or improvisation. A jazz musician is an instant composer. Melodies sounding from instruments are born in the head before being played. The difference between an improviser and a traditional composer is that a jazz musician does not have an eraser to instantly correct his mistakes. Jazz musicians work long and hard to make their body and mind a suitable medium for expressing the ideas forming in their head. It is for this reason that I recommend using a pencil and a music notebook only at this initial stage. By the way, in the description of the video you will find a pleasant surprise, a list of famous jazz performers on the alto saxophone. I strongly recommend that you familiarize yourself with it and listen to at least one composition from each of the performers. Now let's move on to the new practical material. During the previous lessons, you have already learned how to improvise with the different durations on the first and fifth steps of the tonic chord. Today we will add a third step in our tonic triad chord, thereby diversifying the sound of your improvisation. The principle of working out is already familiar to each of you. First I show my example, then you try to improvise with a backing track. We are starting with whole notes, each of which lasts for 4 beats of the metronome. Let's go! Wow, you're already doing great! The task of every jazz musician is to play the melody that sounds in his mind on an instrument. Working with scales, chords, and keys, you can achieve the ability to extract ideas hiding in the corners of your mind. Try to play immediately what you hear in your head. In other words, sing a melody in your mind or out loud, and then play it on your instrument in exactly the same tones and rhythm. This is how a musician acts in the process of improvisation. But first, we have to practice our improvisation skill on the example of a single chord using only whole and half notes. I remind you that when playing half durations, you need to count 2 beats of the metronome. So I'm giving you my example, then you'll do yours. Well done! I'm proud of your result. The old myth that says either given or not given is a pure myth based on the ignorance and inability, unwillingness of those who can play to verbally share their skills with those who think they are unable to learn. It is our mind that is the creator of all musical thoughts. With the help of voice, singing, as a rule, it is possible to get closer to the tones, rhythms, and nuances of what the mind hears better than instruments, saxophone, trumpet, can reproduce. Musical instruments are only the devices that require study. They are less able to convey the ideas that are born in our heads. And of course, the one who is better technically savvy more accurately conveys his own musical thoughts on the instrument. And for better savvy, we will now practice the next version of improvisation, this time using quarter durations, each of which lasts one beat of the metronome. So I'm turning on my version with quarter durations, then you'll play your improvisation. Keep it up, a great option. One of the reasons that jazz classics sound different from you is the fact that they have a huge number of different sounds that are based on working out modes, chords, patterns, ideas. Our improvisation course will help you discover new sounds. By practicing and doing the exercises that I give you, you will get a good foundation for playing any style of music. Too often we neglect the opportunity that gives us a chance to achieve a certain degree of development and freedom in musical expression. Music performed by classical jazz players inspires and benefits. Remember, repeated playing of various fragments of melodies, scales, and chords should lead to greater expressiveness of creativity and not create boredom. The next exercise will also contain 8 durations. At first, we are listening to my version and preparing to perform your own. Super! Where does improvisation begin? Many people start playing by ear, allowing their inner musical ear to guide the choice of certain notes and rhythms. This method of trial and error had used by a large number of jazz musicians until about the mid-60s in the process of improving their skills. This method strengthens hearing, which is why it is extremely important. Everyone should spend time playing by ear every day. The sooner you can train your hearing to distinguish sounds, the sooner the skill will develop into the ability to compose music. Using your own hearing and knowledge of the necessary modes and chords, you will feel much more comfortable taking the first steps in improvisation. Now let's add the 16th durations. It could be difficult for those who have just started to play at saxophone. I can suggest that you once again own your improvisation skills on the previous example with the eighth. Great! So we have completed the training of improvisation at all steps of tonic triad. New chords and new techniques are waiting for us ahead. A backing track for practicing your skills for the alto and tenor saxophone, as well as the scores of the improvisation examples I offered during the lesson, you can download on my website Boosty or Patreon by subscription, a link to which I will leave in the description of the video. Also, in the description I will attach a list of recommended jazz performers to listen to. Today it will be a list of great alto saxophonists. Be sure to listen to at least one composition of each of them. Try to analyze their recordings, find the moments where they played the notes of the same chord with different durations, just like you did today. By the way, I would like to invite you to join the study of the basics of jazz improvisation. You can write to me on social networks. I left links to them in the description of the video. And it is possible that you will get into the group of students. Who knows? Perhaps it is your improvisation that will appear in our next video lesson. I'm glad that you have joined this wonderful world of jazz. For the next lesson, come up with 3 versions of each of the completed exercises. Only now without a music notebook. Try to hear your inner improvisation and reflect it in the performance on the saxophone. See you at the next lesson. Bye bye!